Welcome to the DV Showcase. Tonight we continue our mission of helping support original music in the Delaware Valley and beyond with our three-step process. Listen, experience, and pass on original music. Tonight's band hails from Newark, Delaware, and 25 years ago they got a recording contract, and this year they celebrated their 25th anniversary of that achievement. Let's meet the Caulfields here on the DV Showcase. Now you got a taste of their music. Let's find out more about them in the interview.
Well, it actually started longer than 25 years ago. The band formed in 1992, which was sort of a rebranding, is what I guess you would call it nowadays, of a band that Sam and I were in, a Delaware band called the Beat Clinic. And so myself and Sam and two other members from that band formed the Caulfields. And the difference was we had one member who decided to leave. And so
who was a key member of the Beat Clinic at which is why I think we decided to just hit the restart button and just start from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, and it really did feel like from scratch. Because in those days, you know, you had no social media to inform the world of what your new thing was. So it was kind of like an uphill battle just to get our new name out there. And when we completely revamped the music we were doing, also we sort of cleaned the slate. I had started to play guitar, and when the Caulfields began, that was the first time I was actually playing guitar in the group. So I was writing new songs, and that was kind of the foundation of what we were doing moving forward from that. Because The Catcher in the Rye is my favorite book from high school. And the lead character, Holden Caulfield, was a character that I kind of related to pretty deeply. And it just seemed like a name that made sense. Picking a band name is never easy, and you know, we were probably, I can't remember, Sam, were we struggling, or was it?
Well, at the time I was a big fan of the Connells, but they were actual family members. But I'm not sure who came up with the name, but I thought it'd be cool just to name the band to sound like a family.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Connells, the Ramones.
Exactly.
You know, that tradition of you know,
that kind of vibe. Yes.
That kind of vibe. Yeah. Well, I mean, our sound was basically a combination of things. So this was the 90s, so there were definitely some pretty heavy guitars, but we always had a certain pop sensibility that I think might have been sort of outside sort of the grunge mainstream at the time. So I think we were poppier than most of those bands, but we also were heavier than your typical pop band also. So we just kind of had to find our little niche inside all of that. And sometimes it was lonely. But I think, you know, I mean, if you want a list of influences, it really runs the gamut, because, you know, we were fans of everything from the stuff we grew up on, which would have been, you know, the Beatles and the Who and bands of like the 60s, but we were also big fans of what I guess you would call like punk and new wave. So, you know, artists like Elvis Costello and Joe Jackson, you know, The Clash, and, you know, I remember we were particularly big fans as a group of Sugar at the time, which was Bob Mould from Husker Du's band, that was actually doing a heavier but similar thing. He was definitely doing a more melodic version of guitar rock. And that's kind of where we were at.
Bob Mould was lined up to do our demos when we got signed.
I know, I do recall this. So we had a friend who was in contact with Bob to possibly produce us, but other things sort of superseded that. The main thing was meeting Richie's brother Rudy. and that sort of took our trajectory on a whole different path.
Oh.
Because Rudy was the person that handed our demo off to Mark Mazzetti at A&M Records. So it's like anything. You get into this set of serendipitous circumstances, and your whole trajectory goes in a different direction. And so Bob Mould was out, and A&M Records was in.
This one, okay, guys?
Okay. Go ahead, Brett.
Now, I'm an outsider with the Caulfields, right? I'm an insider, but really, I'm an outsider. I'm a hired gun at the end of the day. So what I do is I get to sit back and I watch the Caulfields, you know, dynamic with each other, okay? And here's what I've come to understand. You guys, you tell me if I'm wrong, all right? John is obviously the band leader, okay? Sam is the heart and attitude of the band, right? And Richie's the mad scientist, okay? Now, the three of them together as friends is everything you want to experience a friendship to be in a band. And then musically, I think John and Richie have this. Well, I don't want to say rivalry, but you guys have, in my opinion, this like not competing. I don't know. I'm a little high. But
you found it.
Richie's producer. Right now, Sam, I'm not shitting on you, but you are the bassist, so But Rich is a producer. John, you're a producer. You know, you don't have a studio like Richie has, but you're a producer. So it's interesting watching you guys work together musically. And I think it would have been really cool to watch you guys work now with each other. You know, writing new music, even if it was like a song or two or an EP possibly.
Oh, okay.
No. But Chuck, is that a good answer? You like that?
I like it.
You like that?
I like it.
Good dude. These are all very good dudes. They're down-to-earth dudes. They'll do anything for you. And I'm honored to be friends with them, more than even honored to be on stage with them. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Brett.
Well, thank you, Brett.
Yeah,
No.
everyone else? That was beautiful. Yeah.
Lovely.
It's all true. It's fun to watch you guys interact with each other now, and like making that movie, and just hearing all the inside jokes. You know, you guys have punchlines to jokes that I don't even know, and sometimes you guys can just make a moan to each other, and you guys understand that that's something that happened on the road in '95. That included a fart. You know, like you guys have the memories. I get jealous because I wish I could have experienced something like that. But goddamn,
We've had our moments with you too.
Yeah, yes.
no. I'm very lucky. I happen to be a fan. You know, that's how it all started with me. I was a fan of John and Cliff Hillis, and I just happen to know their songs. That's why I'm very lucky that I get to once in a while play these songs with these guys, especially with Sam and Richie, because it's the only time I've really gotten to work musically with you guys. You know, I've done a lot of stuff with John, but you know, that's fun, like working with Sam and Richie, and especially when we were recording the cover, you know, and the Raspberries tribute. It's awesome watching you guys work together now, and I can only imagine what it would have been like back then. I've said too much.
No, that was
Was that good? I'm giving you
great.
that was great, Brett. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I mean, I think it is very cool, Chuck, to, you know, getting back to your original kind of question, each one of us has a different kind of relationship with each other. I mean, obviously, I've known Sam and Richie since way back when we were on the road, and I've known Sam even longer than that because Sam was in the Beat Clinic with me, and Richie joined the Caulfields after our first record was completed. So the length of time that I've known these other individuals has varied, but what I feel when we're together is that we are such a cohesive unit. And I know Brett sort of considers himself an outsider in all of this, but the fact of the matter is that if it wasn't for Brett, we wouldn't be doing anything together currently, because the shoes that Brett is filling, so our original lead guitarist, Mike Simpson, who unfortunately we don't really have a personal relationship with anymore, for whatever our feelings are, about how things ended up professionally, he was always an amazing musician and guitarist.
Yeah, great guitar player.
And Brett has the responsibility of coming in and, I'll say it, he has to play the Fly's parts.
Yeah,
and,
but he's got the same spirit and the same style as Mike. I think that's why I thought it would be a perfect fit for Brett to step in. I think he got it from the get-go, and he could jump in and make it his own, but also reproduce what Mike originally put down. He just had the right talent to do it.
And that's important, and that shows that's telling of Brett's professionalism. You get in there and you play the parts that are on the record, and the solos, which we know there's a few of them that are a beast. And that's a professional, and obviously you put your spin on it, your sound and stuff, but that's the sign of a great musician and a great I look for professionalism.
Clem.
No,
anyway, but yeah, so that was cool just to that you got in there, and as Sam said, and you got in there and you shedded the parts, and it's respectful to what we've done and stuff like that, and that's cool, man, that you showed that kind of respect. And because some people, they want to get in there and they just, fuck it, I'm going to play it how I'm going to play. It's like, well, then you're not the guy.
To me, it's always the song, and I also believe in, you should try to recreate what you did on the record, because you spend so much time in the studio working on sounds and parts, and
exactly, man.
I know a lot of bands, they don't like to do that stuff. They'll try to just play the parts with but I think it's important, because it's who you are,
Well, our legion of fans, when they hear those parts, Brett, they hear them played the way they're used to hearing them.
Yeah, that's important. I want to be that. I would be that guy. I would be him. I'd be like, oh, he missed. He didn't.
He missed that, exactly. So they are glad that you are respectful to the music and the Fly's parts and everything.
And one of the things that I think makes sense to point out is, when we were on tour in the 90s and we were making those records for A&M, we didn't spend a ton of time at home. And in some ways, I think all of us can agree that we kind of felt like we never really had the opportunity to play a lot of these songs in front of our hometown crowd as much as we would have liked. And so when we're doing these anniversary shows, it's almost like we're going back to have our chance to do that. So we present them as close to how we really
worked on them and
heard them back in 95, 96, 97, to really kind of, I don't know if closure is the right word, but, when we played at Theater N in November, and were lucky enough to sell the show out. For me, that was a big moment that we were able to do that in Delaware.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really have that chance back then.
And you guys never really got a chance to play a lot of the songs from L live, right? Like, you probably played the big ones, but like the deep cuts, did you guys ever really get a chance to like ever play those?
Not really. I think
Not really.
Well, not the deep
2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, we did. I know we definitely did some. I remember us doing a show at the Big Kahuna. Do you guys remember who we did that show with? Was that the one with Train and?
That was the one with like Better Than Ezra, and I think Train might have been involved as well.
Yeah, and that was our first. But yeah, I remember it was the L, because I remember the kit that I was playing was the L drums. So, but yeah, we didn't get a chance to really
Hone it.
get comfortable playing those songs live.
Yeah.
And like we did with Whirly Gig, where God, we did so many dates and so many tours that everything becomes so second nature. But so it was fun as hell to play that stuff from L, and it's like challenging,
and also sort of get that live confirmation from people that the people that heard that record actually thought it was good.
Yeah, the one guy came up to me at the table and he's like, "This album changed my life." I went, "What?" This album changed my life.
Actually, it's not an uncommon thing to hear about that record.
I was like, "Really? Oh, wow." That's pretty cool.
So I guess it begs the question: what would have happened if like a lot more people had the chance to hear it?
Yeah.
But you can't second guess things, Chuck.
Nah.
You gotta just move on, and once in a while have a little celebration of things.
We'd like to thank the Delaware Rock and Roll Society for allowing us to continue on our mission. Now it's time for more music here on the DV Showcase.